Life with CIDP can be tough, but the Thrive Team, a specialized squad of experts, helps people living with CIDP make more room in their lives for joy. Watch Rare, Well Done.
An all-new reality series, Rare Well Done, offers help and hope to people across the country who live with the rare disease CIDP. Watch the latest episode now, exclusively on rarewelldone.com.
The clock's running out on December deal drops at Lowe's, but there's still time to wrap up something they'll love. Shop great gifts under $50, like the DeWalt Elite Series 100-piece bit set. Plus, if you order by 2 p.m., you get same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Shop December deal drops while you can. Lowe's, we help, you save.
Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... There, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
Hello to everybody who loves a good career change. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, one phone call. No names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hi, everybody. If you're an intro skipper, I get it. I'm not mad at you. Also not trying to create a phrase, intro skippers. Intro's not actually that long on this one. You want to skip like 4 minutes, maybe 4.5. That'll put you right at the beginning of the call. Enjoy it. Hi, everybody. Chris Gethard here. Welcome to another episode of Beautiful Anonymous. It's a phone call podcast. We talk to people on the phone anonymously, and sometimes I like to say we look at the human condition one phone call at a time. It's a nice little sentence I came up with at some point, and I've been sticking with it. Hi. Happy to be talking to all of you again. Wanted to let everybody know, first of all, thank you to everybody who ordered t-shirts. I've gone ahead and shut down the ordering to make sure that all the orders we do have get out in time and that people aren't sitting around waiting for me. Thanks to people who have been reaching out and letting me know about incorrect addresses and things along those lines, trying to get everybody their stuff ASAP. It's just me doing it, so thanks for bearing with me. But I think we did a pretty good job. And I saw my first one in the wild. I was up at the Vermont Comedy Club, and I saw somebody wearing one of those t-shirts, and I got to say, that's a cool t-shirt. Our friend Alex Flannery did a good job on the art on that. When will they be on sale again? If you missed the boat, you might be going, wait, I wanted to get one. They'll be on sale again later, but I want to give a little hint to everybody who's listening here. We're not going to put them on sale right away because we need to take them on the road with us. We're doing some road shows. Tickets will be on sale soon. If they are not on sale already, at punchup.live/Chris Gethard. And we've got 3 so far scheduled. I think we're going to try to do about 10 this year. But January 30th, we'll be at the Hideout in Chicago. The 31st, we'll be at Sanctuary in Hamtramck, Michigan. And February 1st, Bottle Rocket, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And those are 3 of my favorite cities. I don't believe I've played Sanctuary before. I will tell you, the Hideout in Chicago, Bottle Rocket in Pittsburgh, absolutely 2 of my favorite venues in the entire world. I feel so lucky to get to go back. And then as far as doing Hamtramck, I haven't done Sanctuary before, but you will remember the Motor City Mayhem episode, which was, I think, maybe our most out of control live episode, between having 3 callers on the line, people getting on stage to chase spiders away, just real madness. I mean, 2 callers on the line, 1 in the room. The whole thing was madness. So we've got a really great track record in the Detroit area, and I'm so happy to be going back. So again, keep your eyes on punchup.live/Chris Gethard if you want to come to our shows in Chicago, Hamtramck, or Pittsburgh. Those tickets are going to be on sale soon. if they're not on sale already. And we're taking those t-shirts out with us to try to be able to meet people and say hello and have a little merch table and shake hands and do selfies and all that good stuff and give people something to buy along the way. What else do I have to tell you all about? Not much. Let's get into it. This week's episode, I really like this one. First of all, I think this is the first father-son in the history of the show. Caller's father was the timber feller from back in 2023. A lot of people loved that episode. So it's the timber faller's son. And you can go back and listen to that one if you want to get the sense of the generational comparison. But I think one thing we remember is that Timber Faller was like very, very well spoken, very willing to dive into a story, very willing to pontificate. And clearly that runs in the bloodline. Our caller this week is currently living one life, has decided to change everything and make an adjustment in their way of living that is just a complete switch. Just massively readjusting their life and are right in a phase where so many actions have been taken to make that happen and it hasn't quite happened and it's right there. And we get to talk about that, about what it entails, what goes into it and why. And I'll tell you, listen to the end on this one because the caller gets really vulnerable about, this call really reminds me, you get one life. You get one life. And if you feel fundamentally like you're not doing what you want with that life, it can really mess with your head. Caller goes there, gets really specific about it in a way that I really applaud. And I think it's a good call to arms for all of us. Make sure you're pursuing your happiness. Make sure you're pursuing something that feels truthful to you. Don't waste your time on this earth. And I'll also say the 5 questions are lovely. If you want to get behind the paywall, you can sign up at beautifulanonymous.com. Thanks so much, everybody. Enjoy the episode.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello?
Hi.
Oh, how you doing?
I'm okay. I don't sleep anymore, so that's a bummer. I slept like maybe 3 hours last night, but outside of that, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'd say that's a less than ideal situation. My day just turned with this call and was at the store and turned back home and walked in to find my dog got into the trash can and just trash everywhere. So, we're figuring things out.
My dog was the one keeping me up all night last night. So we both have dogs that are negatively impacting our lives. It's a thing we have in common.
But, we'll leave that for the paywall. That's not
well
in the
said.
free feed talk. No
well
dog talk.
said. Thank you. No dog talk for the free listeners. You got to pay up at beautifulanonymous.com if you want dog talk. Thank you for holding me to that.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So, not really what I expected to happen this morning. So really, I think I'll just kind of dive in, tell you what I have to talk about, because I don't think I really have any small talk to go over. So, something you might find kind of fun is if you remember a couple years back, the Montana timber feller that called.
Oh, yeah. Very popular call.
So that's my dad. I'm the one who got him to call in and get on the show. And then him and I went and saw your show in Missoula when you were performing there. And that's my family and I, we listen to that episode all the time. We just re-listen to it constantly. But I kind of decided to follow in his footsteps. And something you might find interesting is I'm kind of going through a career transition. That's one that, I don't know if it's ever would have even really crossed your mind or something you've encountered, but I'm going from a career as a athletic trainer, so working in sports medicine, to following my dad's footsteps and becoming a Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks game warden.
That is a hell of a shift.
Sure if that's yes. Oh, and I'm in the thick of it right now, and it's a heck of a shift, but it's something that's kind of pointing my life in a direction that is really allowing me to be kind of version of myself that I want to be and the version of myself that, my wife, my friends and family, they just, as I'm going through this transition, they see a difference in me. I'm like, sweet, that's all I can ask for. That means we're going on the right path. So
they're seeing a positive change to your personality, to your countenance, to your overall vibe.
Oh, without a doubt. And I feel it too. I mean, just the journey, it's just brought so, it's a world that I love. I enjoy. I grew up hunting, fishing, backpacking, all that, Montana stuff you do as an outdoorsman. And this journey has kind of made me immerse myself in that world deeper than ever. And it has just been fantastic. And, I love my current career as an athletic trainer. I've been doing it for 6 years now and I love it. But, I kind of came to a point where I really thought about, okay, what's my career brought me to now? What's my future look like? And I decided, you know what, I think I'm going to go a different route. And, I always joke, people ask me, oh, why did I choose athletic trainer? Why did I become an athletic trainer? And I always say I accidentally became one because, when I was going to college, it was either athletic training, wildlife biology, or welding. And, I go to the freshman orientation at college and I meet with the, advisor and like, well, what do you want to major in? And I'm like, well, maybe wildlife biology or welding. And actually those were the only two at that point I really thought about. And he's like, okay, cool. Anything else? And I just kind of panicked like, oh, I need to have another option. And I just said, sports doctor. And he's like, oh, like an athletic trainer. And I had no idea what an athletic trainer was. I had no clue. I didn't play sports in high school. And I just said, yeah, exactly. And he said, well, I'm an athletic training student. Let me set you up with our program director. I said, sweet. He said, sweet, she's ready for you. Go over there right now. I'm like, oh, okay. So I go over there and she said, so you're interested in athletic training? I said, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just in a panic. Like I'm at a restaurant and I'm like, I want the number 5, I guess. I don't know. And so she's like, well, you should go shadow the athletic trainer at your high school and see if you want to do this. I said, sweet. She gets on the phone. She says, head over there right now. You can go chat with them. I say, okay. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And I never once looked into wildlife biology, never once looked into welding. And it just kind of snowballed. And somehow I end up with a master's degree in athletic training and a 6-year career in it, pure out of like social anxiety panic.
I hate to laugh, but
it just kind of happened.
That's a pretty good career for someone to panic fire their way into accidentally.
Oh yeah. It's been wild. And so, I got to the point where I'm the head athletic trainer to college. I'm a president of an athletic training association, and none of it really, I didn't mean to do any of it. It just kind of happened. And here we are. And I've had a really successful career and made a lot of good relationships along the way. But never at one point in the process did I feel like I actually made a choice in any of it. It just kind of went with the flow and just kind of happened. Here we are now. And that's kind of where I got to this point this summer where, I was like, okay, I'm 29. I don't have kids. Let's kind of look at life and see where things are at. And through years of therapy and self-reflection and finally gaining some self-awareness of my lack of choices in life, I decided, you know what? I'm going to actually give myself the choice for once in my life, and I'm going to look into this other route. And I did. And holy cow, it's definitely the right move for me. And kind of like I say is, I think the problem I made with that, young, naive, no self-awareness, I didn't truly look into the profession enough or have the wherewithal to really see, okay, I'm good at this career, but is it a good fit for me? And I never asked that question. Is it a good fit for me? And now I'm at a point where I'm looking back and I'm like, you know what? I don't think it has been a good fit for me. And so that's where looking into this game warden thing, I'm kind of asking that question. And so far, all the boxes are being checked.
That's
that's pretty much how that decision was made.
And where are you at in terms of becoming a game warden? Doesn't sound like you're totally there yet, but you're close, or you're full on in it.
So, it is literally right around the corner. So basically what I've been doing to prepare is I've been doing ride-alongs with game wardens. So weekends all the time, most of my free time, I'm going on ride-alongs with game wardens across Western Montana and just basically learning the ropes with them, seeing what the life is like, what the work, and just how much can I learn from each of them. And doing a bunch of studying of Montana laws, regulations, wildlife stuff, all that kind of jazz. And I will apply. I was told that the application portal will open here in the next 2 weeks or so, sometime before Christmas. So it's literally, I'm checking online, waiting for that application portal to open up. And how it'll work is you apply sometime in like March, they'll invite whoever they want from that pool for testing. And so it'll be like a 4-day process. Day one is written tests, like 150 multiple choice questions, a 30-minute essay. If you do well on that, you're invited to the next day, which is like practical testing. So it's like a mock scenario test, as well as practical, like how well do you know wildlife and stuff like that. Can you identify, these furs, these animals, these skulls, things like that? You do well there, then you get invited to the interview the next day. Do well there, then you get invited to the fitness test and background check, and then you get a conditional offer. And as long as the background check goes, then you're good to go. The last hiring cycle, in June, there was 150 applicants. 40 were invited for the testing, and of those 40, 8 of them made it through all 4 days and got offered. So of the 140 applicants, 8 were offered. So
wow.
That's the process I'm going to be going through, hopefully, if they invite me sometime in probably March.
This is no joke.
Oh yeah, no, it's nerve-wracking now. It's becoming very real, but at the end of the day, I've at least, like I said, I've enjoyed the process. It's been so fun going on the ride-alongs, the experiences I've gotten from that, getting to know the game wardens and seeing what their life is like and how just what it's given them. I want that. And literally, I just saw a story online, a news story from this last weekend of a game warden and biologist. They had a helicopter and there were these 4 bull elk that were fell through the ice in the middle of this frozen pond. And they were working to get those elk out of that pond, and they got them all out safe and healthy. But I just sent that to my family on our group chat and said, boy, I would love to do this for a living. Like that'd be just a day of work, rescuing bull elk from a frozen pond, like from a helicopter. Like how awesome would that be?
It's a remarkable change from helping a college softball player heal her ACL tear. A remarkable change.
Yes, very much so. But what's nice is just talking with these game wardens is that the skills and the traits that I've attained from my time as an athletic trainer are directly transferable and applicable to that of a game warden, I found.
How so?
And so that's made me feel, it's a lot of, one, being personable, approachable, being a resource. You're dealing with people of vastly different cultures, backgrounds, religious, political, socioeconomic, whatever it may be. I mean, I have athletes from all around the world that I work with. And, sometimes you're working with people that are in very high stress, high emotional situations. There's anger, there's animosity. Sometimes both as a game warden and as an athletic trainer, just because your job title, you're maybe seen as the bad guy. And that's just absolutely not the truth. And so both professions have this kind of innate ability to break down those barriers and have these interpersonal skills that really connect with people. And that's something I've become really proud of, is being that resource and really, making sure, hey, I'm on your side. I got your best interests in heart. And even if I'm making a decision that you don't agree with or doesn't make you happy, hopefully we can shake hands at the end of it and respect each other and be like, hey, it is what it is. And, it'll be okay. Sometimes that's not the case. You have got to have a thick skin for sure. But I'd say a majority of the time, that's the outcome that we kind of look to achieve. And, another part too is adaptability. Athletic trainers, game wardens on a daily basis, you don't know what your day is going to bring you. I, as an athletic trainer, just this year, I had a kid collapse into a seizure. I had a kid rupture his spleen. I had someone come in with a blood clot in his shoulder, and he collapsed. And so it's really staying calm, cool, collected, being able to, at a split second, your day goes from 0 to 100, and you're maybe managing multiple different things at once. Oh, shoot, I have 3 athletes I'm rehabbing right now, but then someone goes down and, dislocates their ankle on the field, kind of managing multiple hats at once. And as a game warden, I've witnessed that on my ride-alongs where you are doing a lot of things at once, and at the same time you're following up on this case, but then a hunter comes and talks to you, and then, so-and-so calls you to report a violation, and being able to juggle a lot goes a long way. And then really work-life balance. They're both careers where it is a lifestyle. It is not a job. There's a level of unpredictability, and you have to be able to take care of yourself and, implement boundaries and other strategies to, prevent burnout. And if you can do that, they're super rewarding careers. But you do have to protect yourself. And I feel,
I'm convinced.
Every game where I talk to, go ahead.
I was going to say, I didn't anticipate that many crossovers, but I am thoroughly convinced that the skill sets to crossover. You were saying every game warden you've talked to.
Oh, everyone I've talked to, they've kind of given me that reassurance. And there's one, this last ride along I went on, he also came from the medical field, and him and I shared a lot of commonalities in that. And so he was kind of a good example of, okay, he did it. Maybe I can do it too. And I have the knowledge, I have the background as a Montana outdoorsman. So I think, I guess it's just a matter of, could I convince the hiring committee to feel the same about me? We'll find out.
I love that.
I find interviews super easy. I have no problem with the interview. It's the testing part that I think is the hard part, but we'll see what happens.
Speaking as a Montana outdoorsman, how's Montana feeling about all these Taylor Sheridan shows?
That's a great question. It's Montanans. It's amazing just driving around, even with these game wardens, how many out-of-state license plates you see, out-of-state hunters, which is, fine. Okay, that brings money into the state. They're buying the tags, buying the licenses. I think people have their concerns is housing, how it affects the housing market and properties and rents and things like that. I think that's really where the concerns come in. There's definitely a level of, Hollywood with those shows where things are really played up and there's a level of inaccuracy, but I think they try to do a good job of staying true to the culture. But, at the end of the day, you got to make it entertaining. It's like my dad says, he says that show, Axemen or whatever on the History Channel, that logging show, he said, if they made a TV show that was truly accurate about logging, he said it'd be the most boring show ever. He said no one would watch it. You got to play it up a bit.
Because I tell you, I'm just towards the end of season 1 of 1923 right now, where Harrison Ford plays.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen this one, but he plays. I don't know. He's a game warden, but he is some sort of official that helps oversee cattle in Montana in the show.
So he's so that part, kind of about the start of the Livestock Commission. Yeah,
the Livestock
and that
Commission.
Show, Yeah, and I watched that. I watched the 1889, and I love them. They're great shows. I binged them like crazy. The one show that I think is truly accurate to kind of that Western logging culture, the history, all that stuff. There's a new one on Netflix called Train Dreams. And if you really want a accurate look into kind of that turn of the 1800s to 1900s Western kind of culture, that one's a really good one. Super,
good,
and especially the history, super accurate. And actually there's one on there, because I don't know if you remember, my dad had talked about the boot tree, where a logger dies, you put their boots up in the tree, and that's in that Train Dreams, they put the boots on the tree, and that was an awesome little kind of Easter egg for those that understand it.
Can I ask, as you're entering the world of becoming a game warden, I have some sense of what it is, right? People need hunting permits. You have to check that. People have to hunt in season. You have to make sure that animal populations, like I know in Jersey, there's a lot of debate about, there's a very popular bear hunt in a lot of North Jersey, northwestern New Jersey. Jersey's very dense, but northwestern Jersey, things really spread out. And this bear hunt is incredibly popular. And there's activists who push against it on principle. There's other environmentalists who say, no, it's actually good to have hunting and population control of certain species. And it's actually in some ways more environmentally kind to regulate species and human interactions and whatnot. So I feel like all those things, I have a sense of what game wardens do, right? Like enforcement of permitting, enforcement of hunting in season. What are the other common things that go into the job that people like me who are not hunters and who are not part of this world might not realize? Oh, here's some of the big deal stuff happening in this world that you might not know if you don't have more than a cursory knowledge of it. And let's pause there. Probably my favorite thing about the show. Hey, tell me everything about your job. You have a specific job. I want to know everything about it. We're going to get into that and more when we get back. Everywhere you look right now, people are talking about these weight loss medications. I know that's true in my life. I'm sure it's true at yours. It's what you're talking about at brunch. It's blowing up group chats, doctor's office visits. You're talking about it. But how do you know if weight loss medications are right for you? Enter Hers. Hers is transforming women's healthcare by providing access to weight loss treatment plan for every budget. They connect you with a medical provider who will work with you to determine the best treatment option for you. If prescribed, you get medication as part of a doctor-developed weight loss program, complete with ongoing care, check-ins, dosage, and medication adjustments, and access to 24/7 online support at no additional cost. No hidden fees, no membership fees. Weight loss by Hers is realistic, not restrictive. Hers provides access to affordable weight loss plans built around oral medication kits and GLP-1 injectable options. With oral medication kits starting at just $69 per month with a 10-month plan when paid upfront in full. Hers puts your health and goals first with real medical providers making sure you have what you need to get results, all from the comfort of your couch. So if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time for you to find the best option that works for you through Hers. Whether you want to lose weight, grow thicker, fuller hair, or find relief for anxiety, Hers has you covered. Visit forhers.com/beautiful to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's forhers.com/beautiful. Forhers.com/beautiful. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded drug products are not approved or evaluated for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety info, and restrictions. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased. You started a business. Congratulations. It's awesome. You showed the motivation. You got there. But here's one thing you didn't expect. You're the head of every department now. You are the head of everything. You do the marketing. You do the customer service. You do the IT. You have no support staff. It's stressful. I know. I'm right there with you. At some point, doing it all becomes the reason nothing gets done. So stop doing everything. Instead of spending weeks sorting through random resumes, Upwork Business Plus sends a curated shortlist of expert talent to your inbox in hours. Trusted, top-rated freelancers vetted for skills and reliability and rehired by businesses like yours. If you're overextended and understaffed, Upwork Business Plus helps you bring in top-quality freelancers fast. Get instant access to the top 1% of talent on Upwork in marketing, design, AI, and more, ready to jump in and take work off your plate. Upwork Business Plus takes the hassle out of hiring and the pressure off your team by dropping trusted freelance talent right in your lap. That way, you're never stuck spinning your wheels when you need a skilled pro, and your projects don't stall. When finding talent you can trust feels impossible, it's easy to default to doing everything yourself. Upwork Business Plus sources, vets, and shortlists proven experts so you can stop doing it all and delegate with confidence. Upwork Business Plus doesn't just help you find quality freelancers, it handpicks the best so you can focus on scaling and let pros on Upwork handle the rest. Right now, when you spend $1,000 on Upwork Business Plus, you'll get $500 in credit. Go to upwork.com/save now and claim the offer before 12/31/2025. Again, that's upwork.com/SAVE. Scale smarter with top talent and $500 in credit. Terms and conditions apply. Thanks to our advertisers. Now let's get back to the phone call. What are the other common things that go into the job that people like me who are not hunters and who are not part of this world might not realize? Oh, here's some of the big deal stuff happening in this world that you might not know if you don't have more than a cursory knowledge of it.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's really what you described as kind of the foundation of what everyone thinks. When game warden's working with trappers, anglers, hunters. Another big thing is boating safety. Do a lot of boating patrols. Sometimes getting involved in search and rescue, things like that. At a federal level, it's much more investigative. So you're dealing with like black market, animal trafficking type stuff. In California, there's a whole task force for marijuana and stuff like that. So at the federal level, it gets much more bigger, broader, investigative. I can speak to like the state level in Montana. It's a lot of that foundation. I think some things that behind the scenes people don't see is really, I think it's the what people don't really think about is the purpose, or I guess the intent behind what a game warden does. Because you're making sure people are hunting, trapping, fishing ethically, legally. You're an advocate and a steward of good sportsmanship. You're an advocate on behalf of the wildlife, of the wilderness, and trying to ensure kind of the management of such is in a way that it's a sustainable, renewable resource that is here for generations, and making sure that we can keep the populations of deer, elk, and so forth healthy. A lot of managing of populations for the sake of disease, like chronic wasting disease, is kind of the big ticket thing that people hear about. Some kind of examples, and this, listeners, heads up, if you're weary when it comes to hunting, wildlife, things like that, might tell some stories here that might be kind of hard to hear for you, but understand this is where a game warden really kind of comes in as an advocate, and really on behalf of the animal. So, there are some examples of things that I witnessed on like my ride-alongs. This most recent one, ranch manager calls and says, "Hey, I found a dead cow elk. Looks like it was shot. Can you come check it out?" We go check it out. Yep, it was shot in the neck illegally. And something people don't realize too is, okay, we come across this elk shot illegally, left to waste. We harvest that elk, and every single time, and it's actually state law, it either goes to the food bank or we donate it to a family in the community in need of the food. And so it never goes to waste. That animal is recovered and it makes sure it is used for food for someone that needs it. And we're investigating that. We're following the footsteps of the guy who shot it, and we come across, he shot a second elk, a spike bull elk. And so butcher that one and start an investigation. Hopefully we can find the guy. Or, we had a situation. We found someone shot a black bear cub in the back while it was walking away from them. A hunter found it, called in, and we were able to recover the bullet from it. And it was what's called a quartering away shot, meaning it shot it from behind in the back. So the bear wasn't charging them. They just shot it to kill it. Or a situation on another one, someone just before legal shooting light shot a beautiful 5x5 white-tailed deer from a highway, from the cab of his truck towards a backdrop of houses, and just left the deer to waste. And so these people that are just unethically, they're showing no respect to these animals, no respect to those outdoorsmen that are legal, ethical, responsible, and respect the wilderness and respect these animals. And those are the people that, we're trying to catch and make sure they get taken care of. But one thing people don't think about is game wardens, they are law enforcement. I would have to, if I get offered, I'll go to the police academy before I do my game warden specific training, but they're law enforcement officers. And in rural communities where maybe there's not a huge law enforcement presence, or, getting back up on a call might be delayed, as a game warden, you're a resource in that community. You're going to step in. On one ride along I did, we got a call on the radio from a sheriff's deputy, said, "Hey, I'm approaching a vehicle that's driven off the road about 75 yards. Guy appears asleep at the wheel. Can I get someone here to come help me out?" And we're the closest. So we go and help him out. And I stay in the truck, and the warden gets out, and the driver is very belligerently drunk. He's waking up. He is cussing and yelling and being non-compliant. And, he has guns, and he waves the guns out the window. And so, both the game warden and the sheriff's deputy pull their sidearms out, and they're, trying to get the guy to comply, put down the gun. And two more sheriff's deputies show up, and, all four of them have their weapons drawn. And the guy puts his things down, and they get him out of the truck and get him in the car. And then 10 minutes later, the game warden and I are chatting with the fisherman, laughing, BSing, checking his fishing license, having a good time. And so that's another area of the adaptability. 1 second, maybe you have your firearm drawn on an individual helping the sheriff's deputies. The next moment, you're just BSing, having a good time, chatting with fishermen. So it's a spectrum there of situations that might arise. Other game warden in that area, there was reports of a woman who was shot in her home, and he said, "Well, I'm closest. I'll get there, provide emergency medical care until EMS arrives." He walks in, and she had committed suicide. She had shot herself in the head, and he walked in on that. Wow. So those are things that you would never think as a game warden. Everyone thinks, game wardens are just dealing with deer and fishermen and this and that. No, you're in rural communities. Sometimes you're helping out that county, law enforcement presence and seeing some stuff that you would not expect.
It's, there's so much there to react to. There's something you just said that it kind of brought up a reaction that's never occurred to me before, because I've never been a hunter. I've never been particularly interested in hunting. Mm-hmm. Just not my thing. And in my mind, mm-hmm. hunting is at its base level, you're killing animals. But I do get the sense, just based on what you described, that fundamentally for people who are invested in hunting, there's a difference. That hunting, like there's people out here killing animals who aren't hunters. Like if you're pulling a truck over to the side of the road, popping off and blasting a deer, where if you miss, the bullets could go into a neighborhood where
Into
kids
a
are
house.
where kids are playing out in the backyard, and then you're just leaving the deer there. That seems I can fundamentally be someone who, I just started eating fish again, but largely hasn't had meat in 10 years, and who hates guns. Even I can see the difference of that's sadistic behavior versus someone who goes
1,000%.
files a permit and considers themselves connected to the outdoors as part of the process.
1,000%. It's there is a level of respect. There's a level of ethical behavior, and it's those that don't follow that are the ones that are problematic. And at the end of the day, hunting is a great resource for wildlife management, for management of disease, of habitat, of genetics of wildlife people don't think about, genetic diversity, things like that. It's a great resource when done responsibly. And it's a great way to provide food for your family. And those that go beyond those bounds, those are the people that I worry about. Those are the people that, no, they should not have this privilege. And that's the thing. It's a privilege. It can be taken away. And people who just want to go, I've seen times where people will shoot a monster bull elk and just leave the body and just take the head for the antlers because they just want the trophy of it. And that's where the ethics come into play. And that's not okay. And people do lose their privileges for a lifetime. And if there's something, it's a compact. So let's say in the state of Montana, you are a hunter, fisher, angler, trapper, and you lose your privileges, that applies to every state. So it is, if you lose your privileges in Montana, well, you can't go hunt in Idaho or, wherever else. So that's awesome. There's a lot of people that,
I'm going to ask a blunt question, and I might be wrong, but my instinct is that there's going to be two groups of people who are popping off and disobeying the rules of hunting. And some of them are, on a broad sense, like maniacs who like to kill things, and or rich guys who think the rules don't apply to them. That's my gut instinct on the two groups. Is that fair to say that those are the two general umbrellas? And by the way, there's some crossover there. There's also rich maniacs who like to kill things. Am I right in thinking that these are probably the two people two demographics that are most often violating the broad laws of hunting?
I couldn't tell you. I think if I was actually a game warden and really seeing, okay, this is the kind of people I'm seeing on a consistent basis committing these violations, I could probably tell you better, but I'm just not in that world deep enough yet where I really know, okay, who's the kind of people that are really doing this.
Fair.
Tell you. And there's some people that are just anti-regulation, anti-government. I'm going to do what I want, kill whatever I want, this and that. And I mean, yeah, you look back in the day and you have to well, just going and shooting a few deer. It's a different day and age now. You talk to a lot of dads, talk to a lot of grandpas, and they say, yeah, back in my day, I just, killed this and killed that, and it didn't matter. I didn't tag things. I didn't do this. And, so it's a different day and age now. That kind of old way of doing things, and it's changed a bit.
You do get,
but there still are people out there.
Montana, you do get some of the people who want to just wander off the grid. That is an area where you get some of the sort of, the libertarian, we are here because we don't want the eyes of government upon us. You get some militia types, you get your Unabombers every now and then. And I could see those people not wanting to obey any governmental rules in a way that's a real pain in the ass for a game warden.
Yeah. And that's why I say, game wardens, just because of their title, they are seen by some people as a bad guy. And then me, say, as an athletic trainer, I have this, older generation, let's say grandpa, and I have a kid who, a 15-year-old kid who has a suspected concussion, and he says, well, back in my day, you just got your bell rung, and that's part of sports. Let him go play. I'm like, well, No, and also there's state laws that govern how concussions are managed. So, and they just see me as you're just the no fun guy who's making everyone soft and wussies. And no, I'm protecting their health and safety and being an advocate on behalf of them. And that's what the game ward's doing. They are being an advocate on behalf of the wildlife, on behalf of the wilderness and the outdoorsmen and women that respectfully, utilize it. And, you don't, as a game warden, as just an outdoorsman in general, you never want to see an animal left to waste like that. You never want to see an animal suffer. It's just, it's, people might say, well, if you love the wildlife, you love the animals so much, why hunt? Why harvest them? And I get why people might say that. And it's, well, I hunt because I respect them and I love them. And that might be hard for people to understand or to grasp, but it's, it is a different culture, for sure. And if you're outside of that culture, yeah, it could be hard to understand. And,
now, speaking of different cultures, another thought that's popping into my head, in Montana, as a game warden, you probably interact with Native communities, indigenous people who might not like rules for historical reasons in a way that feels a little more valid than just I want to pop off and hunt off season because screw the government. Is there special training or special or specific cultural, how would you put it, almost liaisons to cross over with Native communities in particular? Because I imagine that their relationship to hunting might not always match up with prescribed American laws due to any number of reasons, but that there's more understanding about that, I would have to think.
Yeah. So, and actually that brings up a good kind of experience that I had. So, Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, the reservations in Montana, they have their own kind of management. And so like Fish, Wildlife, and Parks game wardens don't manage the tribal reservation areas. They have their own kind of system for doing things. But something I came across on a ride along, I was with the game warden, and Hunter and his daughter come up, and they were in what's called a trophy mule deer area, which is just an area that has a really healthy, great mule deer population and some really big mule deer. And that's a permit one. So you have to put in, and only a certain amount of permits to hunt there get given out per year. So only a certain number of people are allowed to hunt in that trophy area. And he said he was there and he saw a couple Native American people who had shot a mule deer there, and they had no hunter orange on. They didn't have tags, permits, all this. Well, that's because, and to my knowledge, I'm not super knowledgeable on this yet, but there's a treaty from forever ago that basically gives members of that tribe kind of freedom in the state of Montana or I guess, I don't know if it's a state or if it's a certain region of the state, to kind of forego any FWP hunting laws and regulations, hence why they were able to harvest this deer without any tag, any permit, any hunter's orange. They were allowed to shoot from the road, which is usually, illegal. And they didn't know that. And so that was kind of a good opportunity for us to educate them. But if there's ever issues that arise with a tribal member, then the game warden contacts that tribal office and the enforcement presence there, and kind of communicates with them and works with them to handle it. I know, I believe the only report they have to make is if they harvest a moose, they have to report a moose harvest, but anything else they do not need to report.
Why moose specifically?
A lot more. I do not know. I should have asked that question, but I'm not sure. Maybe Montana is just a little more strict on managing moose hunts. It's hard to get a moose permit in the state of Montana for sure. So my guess is just that. It's a little bit more stricter management of that animal.
Really is. Even hearing you talk about how if there's issues, you'll contact the corresponding offices on native land. It is, for someone who has primarily been in the Northeast since I was born, it is always shocking when you get out to other areas of the country to realize Native Americans live as Americans within America, but also legitimately as citizens of other nations within that American umbrella in a way that is really pronounced and hard, I think hard to fathom for a lot of people who don't realize that this has existed since well before America was established, and is still going on in a way that I think a lot of people assume, oh, that's a thing of the past. But it's a
yep. Oh, and
it's a tightrope act to this day.
1,000%. That's where cultural competency goes a long way. Being able to show empathy, show compassion, and just a willingness to listen and be open-minded and try to understand, a way of life or life experiences of others. And that's something I experience in my current job. My current job, I'm close to a reservation, and a handful of my athletes are tribal members. And, I have to be aware of, what the makeup of their community is, the culture and the kind of struggles and barriers and, things that they have to experience. And how do I provide them healthcare in line with that? And it's really cool. I love, I always say the only books I ever read are memoirs, because I love learning about life, about experience, about people's story. That's a big reason why I love this podcast. And that's a big reason why I get into a job like athletic training, where I get to interact with all sorts of people and really practice that skill of cultural competency. And, as a game warden, probably not going to get as diverse of populations as I would as an athletic trainer, but still, nonetheless, those skills go into play.
Can I guess what aspects of your current job you are going to be happiest to leave behind? Let's everybody pause there. Make your guess. Everybody listening, make your guess. What will we be happy to leave behind from this prior life? What's your guess? I know I have mine. We'll hear about that and the results and so much more when we return. Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. Data brokers make a profit off your data. That is a fact. Your data's out there. It's a commodity. People on the web can buy your private details. It's wild. It can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, harassment. But now you can protect your privacy with Delete Me. What do data brokers do? Your name's out there. Contact info, social security number, home address, info on your family members. This is stuff that can be compiled and sold online. And I will tell you, I am a Delete Me customer, and I am thrilled with the service. I have had a few situations where I've felt like I needed to really step up, think about getting my info off the web, and Delete Me has made me feel safer, which I tell you, when you feel like that, I feel like I'm doing right by my family. I'm a better husband. I'm a better father. I'm keeping everybody safe. I don't toss these things around lightly. Delete Me really helps. The things I am most impressed by, this is not just a one-time service. They give you regular reports letting you know where they found your info, where they've pulled it down again, which sites are trying to add it back, and how they are combating that. I feel like I am in such safe hands with Delete Me, and I think you'll feel the same way. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me, now at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/beautiful and use promo code beautiful at checkout. The only way to get 20% off, go to joindeleteme.com/beautiful, enter code beautiful at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/beautiful, code beautiful. Quince. I am so happy to tell you about Quince. Quince makes great clothes, and those clothes up my confidence. I love Quince. Look, we're dealing with cold mornings now. We're dealing with holiday plans. This is when you need a wardrobe that just works. It's why I'm all about Quince. They make it easy to look sharp, feel good, and find gifts that last. From Mongolian cashmere sweaters to Italian wool coats, Quince pieces are crafted from premium materials and built to hold up without the luxury markup. Quince makes the essentials every guy needs. Mongolian cashmere sweaters for $50, Italian wool coats that look and feel designer, denim and chinos that fit just right. Their outerwear lineup, it's no joke. Down jackets, wool top coats, leather styles that are built to last. Each piece is made from premium materials by trusted factories that meet rigorous standards for craftsmanship and ethical production. By cutting out middlemen and traditional markups, Quince delivers the same quality as luxury brands at a fraction of the price. It's everything you actually want to wear, built to hold up season after season. I just bought my corduroy jacket and I wear it all the time, and I feel good in it, and I look good in it, and I get compliments in it. And every time I buy an item from Quince, that happens. I liked that corduroy jacket so much that I went and got a different color option. I doubled back for more Quince. This is who we're dealing with here. It's quality stuff. Get your wardrobe sorted. Get your gift list handled with Quince. Don't wait. Go to quince.com/beautiful for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/beautiful. Free shipping, 365-day returns, quince.com/beautiful. Thanks again to all of our advertisers. Now let's finish the phone call. Can I guess what aspects of your current job you are going to be happiest to leave behind?
Can you guess?
Yeah. Can I guess? Am I allowed to take a couple guesses? I have to imagine that.
How about it?
Well, you mentioned you're working with mostly college athletes, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are people who were, from the time they were signing up in youth leagues, the best. If you're playing in college, I don't know if you're working D1 or if it's D2 or D3, but at any level, if you're an athlete in college, to the degree that the school has a trainer that's working with you, you're used to being cream of the crop. And I have to imagine there's times where people are suffering injuries and you have to be the one to tell them, hey, I know you've been playing this sport or focusing on this event since the age of 7. And I'm the one who has to tell you the dream is over. That has to suck to be in that role.
Yes and no. I mean, yeah, it's you never, you deliver a lot of bad news as an athletic trainer and healthcare in general. You do that a lot. But what goes hand in hand with that is, what's the reason you go into healthcare? It is to provide a loving, caring hand to people in the worst of times and to be their biggest cheerleader in the best of times. And, a lot of these students that I work with, these athletes, I'm working with them for years. I mean, there's 2 athletes. I've been their athletic trainer for 6 years now, and you build such close relationships. And when that moment comes up where, man, your season's over, your career's over, this and that, I can hug them. I can cry with them. I can be that resource for them. So it sucks when you have to deliver that news. But it feels good that this is why I'm doing it, is to be that resource. So I'm not burnt out on that. Truly, it doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. I love being that caring person for people, but also that's probably a result of my kind of need and desire to people please and be liked and be loved. No, not super burnt out on that.
That's a surprising answer. That would get, I would imagine that being very hard, and I would have burnt out on that. So kudos to you for being someone who can handle that and see that for what it is.
Yeah, no, and there earlier in my career when I didn't have coping mechanisms to deal with it, there's times where I had panic attacks or times where, I would have anxiety of, oh no, did I provide poor patient care? And that led to a bad outcome, and that's why they're hurt or this or that. And I put a lot of pressure on myself, but I would learn, I'd grow, and I'd create those coping mechanisms and figure out how to deal with that. But so I'm better about it now, but I'm fine with that.
I bet then here's the thing I wouldn't want to deal with. When you've got a kid who is nursing it back to health and they're right on that line of getting the thumbs up, and you got some coach who's thinking about their job online going, come on, I need this kid back. I need this kid back. And you're the one who has to sit there and go, the kid wants to be back. The coach wants the kid back. And I'm the one saying, like, we're 85% of the way there, but I don't think we're 100, and I can't put you back out on the court or the field. Dealing with all those egos and personalities, that has to suck. Yes or no?
So yeah, 1,000% agree with you. It is tough. I'm lucky in my current job that I have coaches that are really supportive and really good about not pressuring me, or understand or kind of finding compromise. I had some coaches in the past that, they really sucked in that sense, was really tough. I would call that one of the underlying factors, but probably not one of the major ones. But I would say it's in play.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Those are my guesses. What is it then? What is the thing that you are happiest to be moving on from?
Okay. This is an answer that quite possibly only athletic trainers or physical therapists or chiropractors or massage therapists might understand. And I'm just saying it because it's something that my students and I joke about, but cupping. Do you know what cupping therapy is?
Is that the thing that leaves big purple blotches on people?
Yeah. And it's like the suction cup. And I don't know why, but for the past couple months, anytime an athlete comes in and asks for cupping, it really gets under my skin, and I really have to grit my teeth and say, yeah, absolutely. And there's just some kind of just tedious aspects of the job that I'm really just like, I'm good. I'd be okay. And that's why I say, if I left this career right now, would I miss some aspects of the work? Dumb. But what I would miss really is the culture and the people. And I can find that in a different career. But cupping, oh man, it's really got under. Oh.
Is it just gross?
No, it's just you gotta just cleaning them, and it's just this tedious, annoying process that I just hate. It's not gross. Like, I don't mind. It's not gross or anything. I just really despise doing it and then having to clean them all after, and it's just tedious work that I just don't enjoy. For some reason, the last few months, whenever someone asks, hey, can I get cupping done? It's just, for whatever reason, just really turns me a wrong way.
I have to say on my end, I've never totally been sure what cupping is for, and always sort of assumed that it was maybe a little fake, but it sounds like it's real. It has real benefits.
It's very much an Eastern medicine thing, and there's a lot of conflicting research on it. And, it's like a lot of manual therapy or modality techniques. Is it a placebo? Is it beneficial? Who knows? If it makes you feel good, that's what matters. And there's a lot of things, all treatments and things I'll implement on athletes where is this really going to change anything? No, but does it make you feel good? Does it help you perform at your best? Does it make you feel confident? Does it give you some relief in any way? Even if it is just mental, then okay, why not do it? That's kind of my outlook. Is it going to harm you in any way? No? Okay, sweet. Then let's do it. Because a win's a win, and I'll take what I can get. And if you tore your ACL and you're just grueling through that rehab process and it's a struggle, but we throw some E-stim on your knee and it just helps you relax and feel good for a few minutes, even though it's not going to help with the healing or anything, then okay, so be it. If it just makes you feel good, sweet, I'll take it.
And are you certain, are you positive that you are going to prefer. So cupping is the thing driving you most nuts about your current job. But there's going to be situations where, like, let's face facts. A game warden has to deal with some straight up jackasses. You got to deal with some real knuckleheads. And there's going to be somebody out there doing some dumb shit who's going to make you trek through the woods to try to find them in the middle of February in Montana. And you're going to be out in the goddamn woods because somebody who you probably know exactly who they are, and they've done this 10 times, who enjoys the game of cat and mouse of trying to get away, is going to make you have to hike through thigh-deep snow in Montana in February. You sure you're gonna prefer that to cupping?
Oh, sounds like heaven on earth, my guy. Like, that sounds great. So I'll tell you the real kind of reason why I'm ready to move on from this profession. So for years, like I told you, first off, I never really made a decision. Things just snowballed, and I had a really unhealthy time through college, through grad school, where I developed a lot of unhealthy behaviors and thought patterns and things like that I really just ignored. I was like, just bury them deep down. They don't matter. Just fight through them, ignore them, achieve goals. And that carried on through my career, where I sought after so much external validation, so many titles and roles and volunteer and things to really, build up the ladder and build my resume. And it was all external validation. And through years of therapy and finally gaining a wherewithal and self-awareness, I realized that is not who I want to be. It's who I think, and I kind of realized that ties in with my entire career of as an athletic trainer. There was so much external, and, I tend to be somewhat manic. And most of the time when I'm manic, it's around trying to do things in service for others, trying to do things that will gain me some sort of award or recognition or this and that. But I would also get these kind of manic thoughts of just out of nowhere. It's, I need to go climb this mountain. I need to go backpack in the wilderness. I need to go do this thing connected to the wilderness, or just kill myself. And that's the only other option.
Oh,
and
wow.
The only option that ever seemed feasible was, no, go kill myself. And what kind of flipped the switch of this game warden thing is one day that manic thought came up, and for once I actually gave myself the other option and thought, well, what if I do just go with the wilderness? And that's when I kind of looked into this game warden thing. And that's, like I said before, is people see the difference in me. My wife, my family, them, they see the difference in me in this pursuit. And that's because I finally gave myself a choice. I'm trying to seek internal validation, be a person that I want to be. And ever since I've started this pursuit, those manic thoughts and behaviors have gone away. The suicidal thoughts and desires have gone away. And my desire for external validation, seeking these roles, these accomplishments, these things, they've gone away. And I feel, and all my priorities are changing. And I'm kind of focusing, okay, what truly to my core do I want in life? And that's what I say. I reflected on my career as an athletic trainer and realized it's not that. It isn't. And the only reason I think I was staying in it for so long is because I saw it as this thing that I'm this service to so many people. I'm getting all these thank yous and this praise, and I can volunteer in these positions and, all these different things. And it gave the unhealthy side of me what I wanted. And, for a couple of years, I dealt with an eating disorder, and I just really, really dark times, and it took me a long time to get out of it. And it's been a journey, but I really feel confident that this leaving the career behind is good for me. I think I love it, and I'm glad happy with a lot of the good things brought into my life, but also a lot of the bad that it brought into my life, I'm also thankful for, because it led to this kind of, self-realization that I had through therapy. And here we are. So that's the real reason I'm leaving it.
I didn't see that coming one bit. I mean, if there's any good reason, there's any good reason to do some soul searching about what's going to make you feel peace, I can't imagine a better reason. And it also,
oh, absolutely.
I think so many people will identify not with the extreme swing of athletic trainer to Montana game warden. That is a big pendulum shift rooted in where you grew up and clearly who your dad is, who I've talked to before. But I think so many people will absolutely identify with, I think all over the world, but I can speak very much to the American education system right now, the American attitude towards jobs, where everything being achievement-based, leading people into situations like the exact one you're in, where you go, I'm actually doing really well. I am proud of my job. I'm gaining recognition from my peers. I help lead national organizations focused on my career track. I'm achieving all these things. Why the hell am I still so unhappy? I think so many people are reconciling with the fact that we build everything from when kids are in preschool towards achievement. When we sell people a false bill of goods, that those achievements put out internal fires, help quiet down internal chatter. And I think a lot of us are really getting to a point where we want to vocalize more and more. Not always, and honestly, not often. And we're also sort of trained from a young age to go, hey, somebody always has it worse, so don't complain. And if you're doing something good and you're making a good living and you got a little money in your pocket and you get some professional accolades, who are you to talk about the discontent of that? But I do think that's a little bit of a trap. And I think that's a little bit of, I'm someone who, there are people out here who shout to the hills about the evils of capitalism. I am someone who has participated in capitalism and has had stretches where I've done really well and understand it. But I do think that idea of, hey, the game is rigged and it creates these dialogues that we're not supposed to talk about. And some of them are that people feel all this pressure to achieve, and then they get to their 30s and go, why is my life being spent like this? I've never cared that much about any of this stuff. That I am a big believer in as one of the real dark sides of capitalism, that it makes us feel like we're never allowed to pump the brakes and ask, is this what I really want to be doing? Even for things you're really good at, like I think a lot about how there's probably been a lot of people in life who can smash the hell out of a baseball or shoot the hell out of a basketball to a degree that they probably could have gone very, very far, even pro, and just were smart enough and in touch with themselves enough to go, I think the pressure would mess with my head. The lifestyle would make me unhappy. I don't want to travel that much. I think I'm going to go do something smaller and more in my control and just be happier. We don't hold those up as heroic stories, but I think in a lot of ways they are.
Absolutely. Well, and I think somewhere where I went wrong is growing up, I did not have a lot of, self-esteem, and high school, really, I didn't have a lot of I was the most boring, uninvolved student ever. I did not excel academically. I didn't do any extracurriculars. I didn't play sports. I didn't do anything. I was so uninvolved, and I really struggled academically. I had debilitating academic anxiety, and even through college, there's so many times in college I'd be in a math class, they'd hand out the test, I'd write my name on it, sit there 5 minutes, and turn it in blank because I froze. And I saw all of those weaknesses and all those insecurities, and then I saw my strengths, and my strengths were I have a really good work ethic. I'm really hardworking, and I have my head on straight. I'm good with people, and I'm a good person. And I just saw what I didn't do is I didn't focus on those, and I focused on my weaknesses. And through college, I pushed myself to strengthen those weaknesses and get better at them. And I really put those weaknesses on the forefront, which gave me a lot of anxiety and dread and panic attacks and stuff like that. And I really focus on those. And that's kind of what led to, I think, that external validation kind of masked those insecurities and made me feel like, oh, my insecurities are getting better and those weaknesses are getting better, when I should have just focused on my strengths and realized how can I truly implement those into my life. And I think it's a big difference of what I'm doing now is I'm giving those more power when I should have been doing that all along, but I just never had the wherewithal back in the day and to do that. And it just really put me mentally in a bad space. And, another thing too, is I had a lot of guilt, because I got a bachelor's and a master's degree in this field, and it put me in a lot of student debt. I was like, well, I have to use it. I can't just abandon it. I put all this money and effort into this. And my cousin, he was in a very similar situation. He got a geology degree, and he said, yeah, I was a great geologist. I was good at it. I had a good job. I was accomplished, but he found himself in a very similar situation to me, and he ended up leaving it behind. He became a hunting and fishing guide, and he's now opening up his own fly fishing shop in Montana, and he's never been happier. And I kind of saw him as oh, you did it. I can do it too. And so I'm, trying to head in the right direction. And another thing, I'm right now, I'd say since August, and we're beginning of December now, I've averaged 55, 60 hours a week, and I'm salary pay. So it's pretty rough.
Yeah. On a basic level, that's a nice adjustment to make. Not have to do that bullshit anymore.
It would be a pay raise for me if I became a game warden, which would be nice.
Nice. Hey, we hit the clock. We're out of time. I do, just for the closure, for a lot of our listeners who loved his call, how's Dad doing? And Andrea was typing to me. Andrea was like, I remember his dad's call, his dad saying how proud he was that his kids were such high achievers. Something along those lines. Andrea has a hazy memory of, which I do as well. How's Dad feeling about this shift, and how's Dad doing in general?
He is doing great. He is still out logging, doing his thing out in the snow. So he's doing good. And that was way before he knew all of this, all of my mental health journey, my struggle. And so he was oblivious to it. And so now that I've opened up to him and told him all these things, he's like, oh my goodness, he's way more proud and way happy that I'm following this path. It's just then he thought I was happy and content and all this stuff, but it's because I just didn't tell him. And now he knows, and he's like, sweet, power through. You're doing the right thing.
That's awesome. Well, tell him I said hey, and make sure he knows that.
Sir.
I tell you, on our Facebook group, you have to list, chase away the bots. We always have, when people join the Facebook group, what's your favorite episode of the show? And that way, we get bots. We also get people who think they're joining the Hacker Collective Anonymous. We have to make sure that people understand it's a podcast discussion group. I'll tell you, a very high hit rate of your dad's episode from people telling us what their favorite episode is that caused them to join. So send him my love and my thanks once again for him sharing a story and you sharing yours. And if you're down for the 5 questions, we'll hang out behind the paywall.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Caller, thank you so much, sincerely, for calling up, for having so many stories about who you are, who you're about to be. Hope everything goes well with that career shift, and hope that you continue to find peace, happiness, that feeling that you're doing things that fit and make sense for you. It was awesome. And thanks for getting vulnerable at the end there. Thanks so much to our producer, Andrea Quinn. Thanks to Shellshag for our theme music. If you want to know more about me, including upcoming live dates, punchup.live/Chris Gethard. We're on Instagram. We're on Blue Sky. We have a discussion group on Facebook. Let the world know that we're out here. And don't forget to sign up at beautifulanonymous.com. This week on Beautiful Anonymous Plus, here's some of what you'll get from the 5 questions.
I went hunting this year and I didn't get a single thing. So I spent hours upon hours and miles upon miles just taking my gun for a walk, hiking, and not seeing a single thing. And I had an absolute blast doing it. It was great either way. And, there's this joke where you'll never meet any bigger philosopher than a hunter who did not fill their tag for a season, because all of a sudden it's not about getting the deer. It's about, having that time to yourself and really thinking about life. But, also if that person had a deer, I'm sure there'd be a whole lot happier. You'll never meet a bigger philosopher.
Don't forget to sign up for Beautiful Anonymous Plus at beautifulanonymous.com.